What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the podcast, Sitting Tall with me, Casey Ellen, and my boy, Tony Chamberlain. And we have a lovely guest coming all the way from California today, Miss Ellie Skromme. I got it right?
You did.
I was calling her Erin in the green room, but we will go on. We will move forward. We all move forward. So thank you for joining us today, and we're just gonna start it off with if you could just tell us a little bit about you, how you became to be where you are, and we'll just keep it going.
Yeah, sounds good. And obviously, this podcast is centered around disabilities, so that's why I'm here. Which I love that the community, we can all get together and share that one common thing, but then also kind of get past that, which I love about this podcast too. But I'm 24 years old now. 7 years ago, I was in a car accident and I had a tire blowout in my pickup truck and basically rolled across the road 6 times. Didn't have my seatbelt on. And I ended up under the pickup, and the weight of the truck is what we think ended up collapsing my vertebrae, burst fracture into my spinal cord. Thus, why I'm here with a spinal cord injury.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, had no idea. I was only 17, had no idea about spinal cord injuries, and it has just opened my eyes to how important accessibility is. And, it really just makes you compassionate for what other people go through when you have your own stuff. We're all going through stuff. I think that's just part of becoming an adult. But I definitely have a different view on life now. A huge appreciation for the little things.
Yeah.
I was told never gonna walk again, as many of us have been in those, in front of the doctor hearing those words, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing intensive physical therapy, you could call it, but we all know it's not real physical therapy. It's all out of pocket kind of stuff for the last 5 years, and kind of just been really thankful for the power of our brains and reconnecting things, and looking at walking down the aisle in a month. So I'm really excited for that.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, I see a lot on your Instagram. You're working a lot with, the walk-in with the braces and stuff like that. How long have you been doing that?
From the beginning, I knew I wanted to, anybody that's told they're never going to walk again is going to want some sort of, let's work towards recovering what we can, especially at a young age where you're like, I have my whole life ahead of me. Like, how am I supposed to live without walking, And I was always an active person. So my mindset in the beginning was very negative. Like, oh my God, I need to just get out of this wheelchair. And the reality behind that and healing and all of that really put me into just depression.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest. And I look at my mindset from the beginning of recovering and at where I'm at now. And it's just kind of appreciating where I am and how far I've come, and being thankful for what I have currently, while always striving to improve myself and really push my mind and my body to its limit. And that has really changed the recovery game for me. I'd say being in this mindset, I've only been here 2 years, whereas my previous mindset was very negative. Going to PT because I'm oh my God, I gotta just get through this time of my life of being in a chair and get to walking again so I can continue my life. Mm-hmm. And that is just a terrible place to be in for any situation you're in, living your life for that next thing. You're just always going to be miserable, waiting for that next big thing to happen. Oh, I'll be happy when I can walk again. Oh, I'll be happy when I own my own house, when I'm married, when I have kids. You can't live your life like that. And so
sadly, everybody does that, tell you the truth. And not even if you have an injury, just in life in general, they tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I'm a true believer of taking life as it is and not putting those goals ahead of you. And it's great to have goals, but it's not don't oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. It doesn't make any sense, especially like I said, if we have a spinal cord injury, you really can't push your goals too hard, because then you're going to think to yourself, if you don't accomplish that goal, you feel it as a failure. And that's kind of it's hard for us to take that all in, you know what I mean? So I always tell people, don't set goals, set I don't even know the word. What's the word, Casey, that we can say? Don't set a goal, but set a Hold on, let me think if I can think off the top of my head. But anyways, I'll try to come up with the word. But what we mean is like, don't push yourself. I mean, don't think too hard on yourself, because all you're gonna do is to make yourself depressed if you don't reach that goal.
Yes.
So I mean, definitely strive to make yourself better, which is what I think we all do. And I did skim through your Instagram, and I love to see that you're doing the whole, physical therapy and trying to do the walking thing. And because a lot of people just give up, and it is tough to hear that you're never going to walk again, because nobody
Those
wants
words.
to hear that.
Those
Yeah,
words.
nobody wants to hear that.
They hit hard.
Yeah, they do, man, because it's just like, oh man. But at the same time too, like they're just being, doctors, and they're just telling you what they see and everything. But like, they don't know that inside, like deep inside, we have fire that burns deep, So like, we're gonna do what we can, and I see that with you, so that's cool.
Thank you. You guys both have spinal cord injuries?
We do.
Yes. I am I'm a C4, 5, 6, so I'm pretty high up quadriplegic and tall.
And I'm a T11, waist down. So what injury level are you?
Yeah.
It always cracks me up how, like, when you meet other people with spinal cord injuries, it's like, ooh, what injury level are you?
It's like what's your gang? What gang you repping? Like,
Yeah, what gang? Yeah.
What, you know what I'm saying? C4, 5 quad stuff. So you know what I'm saying?
Like, you guys are like assuming I know, which obviously I do know, but it's just like this common knowledge that we have of vertebrae levels that like other people don't.
Oh, I had no idea the vertebrae had C, T. I just thought it was our spine. You break your neck, you break your back. It's probably not good. It's just, I didn't know there was levels, and like each vertebrae and spinal cord impacted certain, like, innervations to certain muscle groups. And it's just like, I know what we know. I'm sure we all know way too much about the human body that we never thought we'd ever know.
Yeah, I'm a medical profession overnight, pretty much. You know what I mean? It's like you need to learn a lot of stuff about your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, seriously, just to literally live every day. It's crazy. But to answer your question, my injury was T10.
T10, okay.
Yeah.
You're similar to me.
You guys almost twinsies? Okay.
Almost.
Yeah.
One off.
How many years in are you?
I'm actually 6 years in, so you got me by one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm the old grandpa of the group.
The OG over here, yeah.
OG, triple OG, it's just, I've been 11 years now going, pushing a preteen here. I'm in my Taylor Swift era,
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm in my tweens era.
I feel like it goes by really fast. Like, to think that it's almost been 7 years of being in a wheelchair. I mean, sometimes it feels like I've been in this thing for freaking forever, but then sometimes I'm like, holy moly, like that really, I don't know. It's crazy.
It's super crazy. Like, it's like, you're so right how, like, sometimes it feels like it's literally like a blink of an eye. Like, it's already been 11 years, but then sometimes it's just like, damn. It's been 11 long years. And then, like, I don't know about you, since you're at like the 7-year mark, like, I kind of forget what it's like to be quote unquote normal or able bodied. Like, when people ask me, I'm like, I don't even remember what it's like to walk, to be honest with you. Like, this feels like this is how I've always been. And it's really, when I say that, even when I say that, it kind of makes me feel a little weird inside. But it's just the reality of it all. I'm sure people experience the same thing when they, have something like cancer or some sort of thing. I'm sure they feel the same exact thing, that this is the only thing that they know.
Yeah, you grow into your body also. Like, you just, after time, you just like, yes, you remember your able-bodied probably lifestyle, but at the same time, you're living this new lifestyle, which we call it the rebirth, or whatever you want to call it, of our life. And you just, it becomes a, normal to us, because obviously we live in it every day, you know what I mean? And this is just like, my chair is just like part of me now. So that's my reality, and that's how I feel, because I do also, like, even though I'm only 6 years out, I kind of forget things too. I'm just like, oh yeah, able body. I don't remember too much from that now, because I've been doing this forever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys ever go through the like, oh, what if this hadn't happened to me? Or like, do you guys feel like
that's a
negative
slippery
mindset?
slope? That's a slippery slope. Like, luckily I go to therapy now to help me get out of those things. But like, I would go down a rabbit hole. Like, I'd be like, what? I'm like, I try to think like, oh, like, how did I even do this? Because I got hurt diving into the ocean. So it's like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I've done this 1,000 times. I'm like, I wish I could just. I was telling my therapist, I wish I could just be like a fly on the wall to see what happened. Like, what did I do? But those things will drive us nuts. So it's like I try not to, they always say it's easier said than done, but to control the things you can control. And, freak accidents happen, car accident, Tony motorcycle accident, diving, it's things happen. Like you just gotta, you get the card you're dealt and you just roll with it. No pun intended.
Yeah. I think like in the beginning of my injury, again, I was only 17. So there's that.
You're a baby.
Yeah. Like nobody's, I mean, we're never prepared to become disabled. Nobody is. But at 17 years old, you're really not prepared,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that it was possible to not have feeling in your legs and still be alive. Like, come on, God. What the heck?
What kind of joke are you playing?
Yeah. Just giving you a little teaser.
Right?
This wasn't in the Bible? What the heck?
But I think like for like at my physical therapy place, the cool thing about it is it's so much more than just like, oh, I want to walk again. Everybody there has different goals that I go to. I mean, it's like a neuro exercise place. It's not really like physical therapy, but I meet a lot of people, hear a lot of different stories. And I was talking to this girl the other day and she was telling me she's actually 17. She was injured in a car accident. And she's actually from my hometown too, which it just it all hit really close to home. We went to the same high school. And she was telling me like, I just can't stop thinking like if I had been sitting in the car differently, if I wouldn't be in this situation. And I looked at her and I was like, yep. And I was like, that literally put me into a black hole when I was first injured. So I looked at her and I was like, you have to let go of that because there is absolutely nothing you can do to change it. So just thinking about it is going to drive you crazy. Like, just let go of that thought completely and just move forward because that's all you can do. Like, we can't change the past. And oh my God, the way that girl just like burst into tears. Being that young, being a female, being injured, like I remember being in the hospital and just like everybody seeing everything,
There's so many layers to it that people don't really understand.
No.
It's like we're free. We're basically out to the world could see us in our baby uniforms, or it's
baby birth uniform.
Yeah, I was that's the birthday suit. I was like baby uniform.
The birthday suit, yes.
It's like where'd you get a baby?
I was like, yes, we're babies nowadays, but adult babies. It's a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, people that go through spinal cord injuries. I mean, I know what it's like to go through a spinal cord injury because I've gone through it. So I just like that's some tough motherfuckers, excuse my language. Like,
oh no, go for
it. That's fine. You're more than welcome here.
Okay, cool. It is not for the weak of heart. Like the things, and people just don't realize it. Like people see me and they're like, I'm sure you guys get it all the time. Like you're so inspiring. Like even just me getting gas at the gas station, people are like, oh my God, like it's so cool to like see you out in public. And I'm like,
oh, it's like, don't say that.
Oh my God, it's so funny how many times we hear this from all our guests and from people with spinal cord injuries. It's like, oh, you're an inspiration and everything. I appreciate the words. I appreciate the thought process. I feel like it's almost because they don't know what to say to us sometimes. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not an inspiration. I'm just trying to live my life over here. You know what I mean? And just because I'm doing something that you don't think I can do, that I guess that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. Like, I totally get where that comes from. That's for sure.
Yeah, like what else are we supposed to be doing?
I sit at home and not like that inspiration word. Usually, it's kind of like a trigger word for me a little bit. But like when I hear it now, like after doing like the podcast a while, me and Tony, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, and like if this happens to inspire somebody, and if that, I'm more than happy to. I'm glad that could do that. But it's not like, we don't wake up sitting there and be like, all right, we're going to go inspire some people today. Like, no, we're getting up and it's like, oh, wait, how long is it going to take me to get out of bed today? Like, like let me inspire myself a cup of coffee or, it's just things. It's crazy.
Yeah. I also really struggle with like holding myself to a standard of being able-bodied, which that's like a mental struggle that I have where it's like, oh my God, like, why is it so hard for me to like be on time? Or why is it so hard for me to like stay committed to plans? Like why am I always canceling plans because I'm having like a rough day with my body? Like why can't I just be normal and like be like everybody else where I can just force myself to do things? Like in this situation, in this chair with this injury, I can't do that sometimes, Yeah. And I just get so frustrated where I'm like, why is it so much harder for me to do things that are so easy for everybody else?
Yeah. You can't, it's hard not to put yourself, like judge yourself against somebody able-bodied, but it's it's obviously it's not healthy. That's obviously not a good idea to do. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Tony, I'm not going to speak for you, Tony, but I'm sure you can experience the same things that she's talking about. How we just remember with our boy Cruz every
episode, man. I think this is going to be
I want him to be like our mascot.
or whatever.
He's going to be like our mascot.
Yeah,
we had a guy on the show. His name's Cruz from Florida. He had this really good quote, and we basically talk about it to everybody whenever like we hear like that kind of stuff.
My next tattoo.
Yeah, I think that might be.
Right?
It's comparison is the thief of joy, because when we compare, right, hallelujah, it's so true, so true, and
we constantly compare ourselves to other people and things too. Yeah, and it's just like that definitely does take away from our joy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we do it with other people, not just able-bodied, but we think about it with other disabled people. Like for instance, like you have the same injury as me, and I see you walking over here, but I'm not going to go, oh my God, she's so much further ahead than me and everything. I just see it as like, hell yeah, you're kicking ass and you're doing what you want to do. You know what I mean? So keep pushing. You know what I mean? I love that. That's why we're here too. Is we're here to support each other, community. You know what I mean? That's what it should be about.
Yeah, I love that. Seriously. Speaking of tattoos. Oh no, sorry.
Go ahead.
Just say a little something people probably don't think about. Like we use our hands for everything, right? In one way or another, whatever we're capable of. I got a hand tattoo the other day, and when I'm pushing my wheelchair, it like rubs the side of it. The way that it's a butterfly and like half of it is already faded, and I just got it.
Oh, we have to see it now. Like,
it's like a weird. How the hell am I going to show this on here?
Okay, all right.
Okay. I can see what you're talking about. How it's gonna. It's eventually going to be a one-wing butterfly, which is fine.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, well, I didn't even think about that. I was like, I'm just getting a hand tattoo, like everybody else does. No.
Just say it's still half in the cocoon. That's all you got to say. It's just coming out. You know what I mean? It's still kind of. Yeah, you really have to think about placement when you're doing tattoos, because I thought about that also. I'm just like, I don't want something to fade or really get like, especially because we, just like you said, we use our hands a lot for, I'm assuming you're a manual wheelchair pusher, which I am too.
Yeah.
We do, like, I noticed that I build up like calluses and everything too when I'm like pushing along here, and it drives me crazy because I'm always like, why is my skin so rough right here? And I'm like, oh, okay.
You guys have some strong hands. That's just you guys have some strong hands.
It does build up, man. It does build up. So
it does. I always compliments on my handshake.
Right?
Ooh, good grip. Good grip
shake.
Yeah,
good shake.
I'm like, this is just weird, sir.
Sir, leave my hands out of this.
She's like, can I have it back now? Like, oh
really?
So I had a question for you. I saw, going through your profile, you do some sort of life coaching for people with. Is that with people with spinal cord injury, or just people in general?
Just people in general. I feel like we all, like, everything I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and we're put through things in life for a reason. And going through this injury, I've just felt this like greater calling in life to do something with this injury rather than just what I would have done with my life without it, Yeah. And after overcoming depression and really just shit that I've been through, man, where do I even start on this?
Take your
My
time.
brain's like, where do I begin here? I was in a sort of abusive relationship for like 7 years. I ended up marrying the guy, and that was through my disability. And then basically was told things like, nobody's ever gonna love you because you're in a wheelchair, and like all of these things that
what's his name?
I know, we're about to send the community after him now. You don't want to mess around.
You seen Beyonce's Beehive? We got we got a little something.
The rolettes over here will freaking come after him.
Terrible, especially at that young of an age. And I now have.
Sorry to cut that.
No, it's okay.
That grinds my gears.
I have had a lot of forgiveness for him now, but at the time, it was just a lot of hate for myself and my situation, and just like, why am I in this situation? Like, there's nothing I can do to change it, but like, it's affecting my relationship, and like, how do I get out of this situation? So that's kind of where my negative brain was also. Just all this like self-loathing and terrible place to be in. It all just kind of like compounded. And I started going to therapy, and I started going to therapy because he actually told me to go to therapy. And he said, you need to figure your shit out. So I started going, and within a year, my therapist was like, you know, your husband is emotionally abusive. And I was like, whoa, he's not into this. Like, keep him out of this. I thought I'm the one with the issues. And then anyways, I did some serious healing and really figured out that I am worth something. And just like mindset change that turned my life around. I ended up leaving that relationship and just like finding a passion for life that I realized I didn't have. And I just want to share that with people. So that's kind of where my like one-on-one life coaching comes in, where it's like, let me share this passion that I found for life with other people and let me help people change their perspective. Because at the end of the day, like, the three of us have spinal cord injuries and our struggles are very visible to people, but other people are going through stuff also, and it's not visible, but we all have struggles, like whether it's depression, anxiety, a disability that's visible or not visible, like family issues. We're all going through it. So I just want to share that goodness that I found with other people. So that's that.
I actually say that all the time myself. It's just like we don't know what other people are going through. Just because we have a disability, don't like put it all the spotlight on us. You know what I mean? Because other people could be going through stuff, like somebody that might help you or like take a time out of their day to do something for you nice. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to thank them for that, because like you said, you don't know what they're going through. You know, you kind of like, a lot of people seem to always think about like themselves. And I'm glad that you like actually put it out there, like, because I'm a positive person, he's a positive person. This is why we do this, and we try to push that love and just keep it out there, because like you said, we don't know what everybody else is going through, and we can just, this little message that we're talking about right now might actually change somebody's day if they're watching this or listening to this. Keep it up.
The way that I look at it is like, people get so caught up in being better than the person next to them, being prettier, being faster. Like, I'm into drag racing. If you guys have seen my other Instagram page, it's all about cars.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, behind the curtain.
Okay. Behind the curtain. I know. I feel like I live two different lives. Like, one of them is like super inspiring in one way with like workouts and like being healthy and like changing your mindset on life. And then my other page is like, let me show you everything I can try to figure out how to do out of a wheelchair.
Badass race car driver.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome.
But, you know, people, I see like all this like street racing and drag racing world where people are just hating on each other for losing races, and it's all about having the fastest car. And it's like, my biggest realization in life is that life is all about connection. Like, we're not here to be better than the next person. You might be winning races because that is inspiring to somebody else. Like, you could be inspiring somebody else to get into the automotive world, or like you could inspire someone else to live a healthier lifestyle, to improve themselves. But it's not about being better than the next person. It's about inspiring people and like bringing good into the world. And being a part of like the racing community, I'm just like, it makes me so sad to see people get so caught up in the thought of winning or being better than the next person. Because I see it time and time again. Like, if that's all your life is about, you're going to be a miserable motherfucker. Like, seriously. When you start living your life not being so self-centered and like start giving back to the world and just like working on improving other people's lives, you'll see your own life flourish. And I think that realization is so beautiful. And like, I wish more people understood that. Like me with walking again, or like the reason I share that whole side of me is so maybe like another person can see me and not see me not giving up, and maybe they're not giving up. It's not about like I'm here, there's no gatekeeping here. I just want to be real and like share my struggles with other people so they maybe can be inspired or be motivated. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just, I think social media, you can go both ways. You could be a total asshole to everybody and just be like, look at how much better my life is than yours, or you can really bring some goodness into this world. So that's where both my platforms are centered towards, is bringing goodness into this world.
So we're all about here, me and Tony, and that's why I post a lot of videos of like my therapy stuff as well, just because like there was a good shirt. You know, we're all about quotes on the show, but there was a good quote that somebody, I don't know who said it. It was something about like, you may see me struggle, but you will never see me quit. And like, you know, when people see, you know, me struggling just to put a t-shirt on, and like, you know, at therapy doing my thing, it might be hard for me, and it might take me a little while, like longer than, you know, a person just, you know, it makes you put into perspective, like, you know, like, I look how hard I'm working just to put a t-shirt on. And like,
Mhm.
so people take things for granted, and like, you know, I'm sure we all took everything for granted before our accidents, and now, like, you know, like you said, the little things matter so much more. And like, there's just little small improvements that we got, might not be like jumping off the page to somebody else, but you know, Tony might be able to bend down a little bit more, you know, than he used to be, because, you know, with the hip and everything you got, Tone. And it might be huge for you, but nobody will really notice that. But so it's all about perspective, I feel, when it comes to
Yes.
all these kind of things.
Seriously.
Also, it's the little milestones that you get. Like, you don't really, like, I was just telling somebody the other day about a video that I watched of me, like, fresh off the injury line, I would say. And like, I was literally struggling to get like my feet on a chair and everything. And nowadays, obviously, it's like easy. I just throw them up, no problem. I mean,
Mm.
I have some bad spasms, but you know what I mean? But I can at least do my thing to get my body where I need to be. But just comparing those two, and you know, sometimes I have to give myself a pat on the back and say, damn, I've come a long way. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just because, you know, like I said, we see other people. That's why we always say the comparison thing. Just because we see other people more like further along or stuff. Don't let that eat away at you, because like I feel like every milestone that you make, you should actually probably write it down and see how far
Yeah.
you've come in like a year or 2 years or anything like that. Because that's going to help you, and it's going to make you feel a lot better than constantly thinking about it and like putting yourself in that hole of like, oh, I'm garbage because
Yeah.
I didn't do this today or I didn't do that today, you know? So
And
Yeah.
we are our own worst critic.
we
Like, that
are.
is 100% true.
Mhm.
Mom said it, and you know, didn't listen to her, but she was right. Mom was right.
Mom was right. Mom's always right.
Oh, God damn it.
Cool too, like the platform that social media can give us, because so often, like being out in public, people stare and they're just like I had this lift in my truck for the longest time. I don't know if you guys saw any videos of that. They would like put my wheelchair in the bed, and
Mhm.
when I would be getting diesel, people would just like flock to me and be like, "This is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, where did you get this?" And I'm like, no, really, like there's a lot of people that have wheelchair lifts that put their wheelchair in the bed of their truck. Like it's a common thing.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny, like sharing that with the world almost every time I'd get diesel. It was always at the gas stations where people would just be like, "You are the coolest thing I've ever seen." And I'm like, thank you.
So cute.
It's so funny to us. It's like common now because we do it. Like I have a van and I get in and out of my van like nothing. And I have people like stare at me sometimes, like watching me get in my chair and like go into the driver's seat. And I'm just like, for me, I'm just like, it's just normal to me now. But then I get it. There's not like a lot of people don't see that all often. You know what I mean? So like when they do see it, they're like, oh wow, that's awesome. You know what I mean? And I don't ever think about it because like I said, I do it all the time. And I'm sure people when they see you doing it, they probably like. I really do think that's the lift that goes. Does it go into the bed of the truck? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah. So those are really cool. I actually like saying those
Yeah.
things.
I
And
might
I'm
stop and
like,
stare too.
yeah. I'd be like, oh, let me see how that works. I get some ideas now. You know
No,
what I mean?
no, like, but I just love being. I think it's funny. Number one, how disabled people, like it is harder for us to go out in the world, and like so people aren't seeing. There's so many disabled people that just get stuck at home, and it's because accessibility is such a huge problem. And I mean, you guys know all of this, but
Yeah.
to be those people like out in public and like sharing that, like making people almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like used to seeing disabled people out in public. It's not like I look forward to a day when it's like not crazy to see somebody else in a wheelchair out in public, where like it's
Yeah.
easier for us to go out and do things. Like
Yeah, make it look normal, like it's like part of our, like our
It's
everyday
all
society.
all about
That's
normalizing it, you know.
yeah.
every chance I get, I'm like, okay, whenever I see like a cool accessible feature, I share it with the world because I'm like, you know what? This people need to understand like how much of a struggle this is. Like I love going to baseball games, and like Oracle Park in San Francisco for the Giants. They have these accessible seats, and it's like you basically get somebody from the section that's working, and it's usually like old volunteers, which I think is so cute. They're like old people that like walk around with wrenches, and they basically like take these bolts off the chairs and they move the chair completely out of the way so your wheelchair can just like roll into the spot. And I'm like, the first time I went to a game in my chair, I was like, this is incredible. Like, who came up with this? This is genius. I love this.
That is
like
awesome.
And like if your wheelchair is like extra wide, they can take out 2 seats. I'm like, yes, this is the
that's
accessibility
cool.
that we need.
Yeah.
I love that.
I got that big body chair. I need the 2-seater, you know?
Yeah, right. You need to pull up deep, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the big body.
That's funny that you say that they take out the seat, because I go to Fenway because I'm a Red Sox fan, and they have a whole section. Shut up. He's from New York, that's why. So they have a whole section that's like no chairs. So like there's so many like wheelchair spots that you can just pull into and not have to really wear. And it's actually really a good view of the game and everything like that. So, you know, we do get some good seating sometimes. You know, if you go to concerts and stuff like that, you get some great seats. That's all I got to say.
And we get really good parking. We don't have to wait on lines.
Yeah.
You know,
so there are some perks.
Some perks.
Okay, wait. I have other sides of these stories, though. I was at a concert one time, and I didn't buy accessible seats because I was like, we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Like, I was with my ex at the time, and I was like, I could just get carried to my seat. You guys, the way that our seats that I ended up buying, which is always hard because when you're looking at a map of a stadium, sometimes it's like, oh, it's literally like there's steps right there and you can wheel up here and I'll only have to carry you like a few yards and we'll be at our seats. But then sometimes, like the situation I was in this situation, it was like 2 incredibly steep flights of stairs that we had to go up. And I looked at him and I was like, there's no way. Like, I don't even want to go up there because of risk of falling. Like, you're not carrying me up those.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what to do. So we were kind of just like hanging out in a breezeway watching the concert. And security came out to us and they're like, hey, you can't hang out here. And we were like, what do you mean? They're like, it's like a fire hazard. No. If there was a fire, you're going to be in the way. So you can't just hang out here. And I was like, well, we don't have accessible seats, so we can't even get to our seats. And they were like, you're going to have to leave. So we had to leave.
If they said that to me, I'd be reporting some stuff, that's for sure. So oh my God, this is such a passion of mine that you're talking about this, because I go to a lot of concerts and games, and they have to accommodate to you. They have to. It's part of the law. So like if you go there and you buy, like I buy a ticket that's like nosebleeds, and I go there and I'm like, hey, I don't think I can get up to my seat. Can you exchange it? They literally have to exchange it because like it's part of the I forgot one somebody told me about it, like some kind of law, but it's American part of the ADA.
Disability.
Yeah. And like if they tell you to leave, there's so much stuff you can do. You can sue them. You can be like, hey, listen, you know, you didn't accommodate for me when I came in. You didn't have. I mean, they do tell you to look for accessible seating when you're actually going to purchase stuff, but a lot of times it's super pricey or super expensive, and it's just like, dude, I'm not paying that much. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? So like, so far, I haven't had any issues. Every time I go somewhere, I'll pay for something that's like super cheap, and they switch it out for me usually. So like, you shouldn't have a problem with that. And if that ever happens again, you need to get up on that. That's all I was gonna say.
You're playing a dangerous game there, Tony. Buying tickets that.
Listen, I don't play dangerous games. I got laws on my side, baby. That's how I think, man.
I love that. Like, you're just like, you know what? I am in a wheelchair. This is already a difficult life. I'm
going to enjoy this no matter what. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I got that in me to do that.
Come on, guys, you gotta get it in you, baby.
I'll pay the extra $50 for the handicap seat. I'm sorry.
Oh man, nope.
That's the sad thing too. Like, we went to another concert. What was that? It was actually this year, and we had gotten accessible seats, and it's like there was only one section, and the view like was not that good, and there was a bunch of people with like walkers in there. It was like basically just like a bunch of old people, and I was like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, I wish I could be somewhere else and not like in the like nosebleed section with the old people. Like, I'm 24. Come on. Like, why
there are some places that are pretty awful when they have their seating. I actually just went to a concert, and like everybody, like they had a good seating. Like I was in the middle of the concert hall, but the people in front of me, once I stood up, I can't see a thing. So I'm like, come on, like they need to put us somewhere where like there's good viewing, like nobody's gonna like block our views and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, kind of put some thought into it. Like that's all I gotta say. And it's just a simple thing to think about. And like this is why I'm always pushing this, because we want to enjoy our lives. We want to go out in public and do stuff. And like if you don't account for these things, then things will probably never change. So that's why I constantly say, like, you need to say something. You need to say something. You need to be like, hey, I really want to eat here, but, like, I can't get into your door, or I can't do this. They, most of the time, they'll have to accommodate through the state, or they'll do something for you at least. You know what I mean? Because I've noticed it more and more when I'm out. It's like, I want to go hang out with some friends, and I can't get into the building because they're not handicap accessible, and I get super pissed.
Yeah,
So,
it's the worst.
You gotta figure that shit out, and like, I'll say it till my face is blue. You got to account for that. You got to be like, listen, you got to check out the law, man. Like, because like this needs to be changed, and they usually have to accommodate.
Yeah, the situations that I've been in, like I was staying in a hotel the other day, and my fiance was working in this town for work. We were in Sacramento, and I was just like working. I work from home, so I was like, I'm gonna go get lunch. And I went to leave the hotel, and we were on the second story, and there was a little piece of paper on the elevator that said, out of service, use stairs. And I was like,
you're like, okay, yeah, no problem.
I was on the phone with him, actually. I had my AirPods in, and I was like, Ricky, I don't know what to do. And I was like, let me call the front desk. So I called the front desk, and they're like, hold on, we're sending somebody like to come talk to you. And I was like, okay, I'm in front of the elevator.
Talking's gonna help.
Yeah, so somebody comes up and they're like, hi, like we're gonna help you down the stairs. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I can't get out of my chair and like walk. Like it's not like I'm using this because I have fatigue or anything. Like I have no connection in my legs. Like excuse me,
Yeah.
do you want me to put my leg braces on and like hobble down the stairs? Like I could
Jesus.
crawl, but then I was telling Ricky, I was like, if I was in a manual wheelchair, what ended up happening is I went backwards down the stairs with two people helping me. But I told Ricky, I was like, if I was in a manual wheelchair, what would they have done? Like, they couldn't have gotten my wheelchair down the stairs.
Oh, like a big power chair like mine?
Like a power chair, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no shot.
There's no way.
I'd be on the second floor for life. I'd probably die there.
Like, what if there was a fire? I'm like,
I'd still be there.
Yeah.
Yep. You'd be cooking.
You're
have Casey for dinner.
Help.
You ever see that meme where it's like everything's fine and there's fire all around it? You ever see that meme?
Oh
my God.
That's you.
Yeah, I think of that all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's our life right there. If we're like in a situation where like a fire like breaks out, we're screwed.
Yeah, so, usually at hotels and stuff, it's usually on the first floor they have all the accessible rooms and stuff to avoid situations like that. But apparently not.
You would think so, right? Yeah.
Not in Sacramento.
No, They were very kind and like felt really bad, but I was like, this is horrifying for me.
Feeling bad's not going to change a thing.
No, and like trusting people to like basically touch me and like help me down a flight of stairs. I'm like, this is horrifying. Like, I don't ever want to be in a situation like that.
Probably have no experience with, with our situation. So like, if you needed something, God forbid, if something would have happened, or they get it, that gives me all the heebie-jeebies.
I think I hate that the most when people are like, oh, we could just lift you up or something like that. I'm like, I'm like trusting you to have my life in your hands, and I do not like it. You know what I mean? I'd rather figure this out some other way, because I forgot where I went, but there was a bunch of like college dudes that like saw me. I couldn't get into something. And they're like, dude, we'll lift you up, and like they were being all goofy and everything. I'm like, nah, bro. I was like, I'm all set because I don't know you, and if you drop it, you're not gonna give a shit. You know what I mean? So like, nah, I'm good.
Or like, no hate to my friends, but like they know I will do certain things to get to places. Like I've crawled up flights of stairs to get to like tattoo appointments, and like I've done some crazy shit, right?
Gotta get that butterfly.
Gotta get that butterfly.
Yeah, it was a different tattoo, actually. But I, like, sometimes we'll go places and they're like, oh, it's fine, there's stairs. Like, I know you're willing to climb up the stairs. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But just, also, this really sucks. Because if I have to pee and I have to climb up a flight of stairs, like, I'm gonna pee my pants, you guys. And, like, nothing is worth peeing your pants over. And, like, there's just certain things people don't, like, most of my friends understand my struggles pretty well. But then there's just some things people don't think about. And it's like, okay, if I get there and I really have to pee and then I have to climb up a flight of stairs while having to pee, like, that's not good. Nobody wants to go through that.
No,
like, yeah, I'm willing to accommodate myself because I can, but also, like, I would rather not.
Yeah, I'd rather have to put myself through that just to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. I have a question since I'm thinking about it. This is for both of you, actually.
Ooh.
If you go to a spot, right, and like, actually, no, not even go to a spot, but like, I'm sure you have a decent amount of friends that are like close in your circles, and like you're out with them. Do they know everything about like your situation, or do you kind of hold back? Like, like literally, like you said, you're an open book, but are you an open book with like all your friends? Because I have a best friend literally that still to this day, like the other day I was saying something about my disability, and he's like, oh, I always thought you did this, and I'm just like. I was like, you didn't know that? And I literally do stuff around him all the time. And like, he's like, oh, I didn't think of that. I don't really think we open the conversation up to our friends a lot, more than we think, because we might say, oh, they probably know, but they really don't if you think about it. So my question would be is just like, how open are you with like your friends, I would say.
Casey, do you want to go first?
Oh, no. Ladies first. I am a gentleman.
Ladies first.
I would say this makes me laugh because I think this is more so because I'm a girl than disabled. Like, we tell each other everything. Like, there's no holding back with my friends. Like, they know literally everything I go through. Like, I'm like down to like peeing my pants in the parking lot. I was telling my friend that story the other day of a situation I was in, and like she just knows that I struggle with those things, and like I literally tell my friends fucking everything, but I think that is because I'm a girl and not because
maybe
and
yeah.
I feel like you don't tell your friends things because you're a guy, not because
I think it is a guy thing that we tend to try to be like the tough guys or whatever and not really kind of say things, but I've come a long way and I'm just like, listen, I'm literally an open book. I will tell you everything. Like the other day I was telling my friend, like, I was like, yo, I think I gotta go home. And he's like, why, what's up? I was like, I'm pretty sure I might be shitting myself, so I have to like go home and like get changed or whatever. And he's like, oh, dude, do you need any help? And me, just stupid me, like thinking I could do everything, but I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. And I go home and do my own thing. But like, yeah, guys tend to hold a lot of stuff back because like we just don't want to talk about it. But yeah. I've noticed more and more nowadays. I'm just like, whatever, that's my lifestyle now. So it's kind of like you got to talk about it. To you, Casey.
I feel like, I feel like I've always been a sharer. Like I've always, even like when I was younger. So like my good friends, like that are my boys who are like around me a lot, like they know everything. Cause when I hang out with people, it's a little bit, not to downplay your guys' disabilities, but I need a little bit more care. So like, like my boys know, like, they know how to empty my bag. They know how, if something needs to be moved, or like I want my water bottle, like all that kind of stuff. So like, I feel like I don't really have a choice. Like I feel like I figured that out really quickly, that because my injury entails so much when it comes to my assistance and stuff. So I feel like I had to just start telling everything. There's no secrets. Like I feel like I kind of got forced into it. So I guess I'm kind of like a little girl now. So
that's a little girl now. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, that's fine. Fucking gender fluid in this bitch. I'm good.
Oh my god, you are too funny, my friend.
I will be a little girl because little girls are fucking great.
No, I think with a disability too, it's almost like bringing awareness also, which is a reason why I never really hold back with people, because I want them to know and understand, like, we all go through some shit. Like
this is rough. This is not for fun. We're not faking. This is real. Yeah. This is real stuff. Like, we don't just sit in the wheelchair because it seems so cozy. We're lazy. We don't feel like walking. No. We got, we might poop our pants and we might piddle. Like things might leak. Like there might be,
things might happen.
Somebody might make Ellie laugh a little too hard, and then gotta go. This is life. This is our life now, and it's either our friends are going to be accepting and want to help us and remain. But if they don't, I've had some friends that I don't really communicate with as much anymore, because it's like the empathy isn't there, and it's just like they just so it's like you know who your real friends are, and you go from there, and you got your people, and That's how I look at it. Like,
I think my funniest realization with this, because in the beginning, I want to blame the fact that I was only 17 and like I was not ready to share.
Kid. You're still a kid.
Yeah,
you are
not ready to share that. Like I was in that phase of being more ashamed of like human functions and stuff than whereas now I'm like I literally like we all deal with stuff. But my biggest realization with sharing like bathroom issues with people and like shitting your pants situations or like peeing your pants or like dealing with, you know, obviously a lot of us with spinal cord injuries don't have that muscle control, is realizing like even able-bodied people, like the most, like everybody has bathroom issues. Like there's everybody has horror bathroom stories. Like it's just part of being a human.
Yep.
So like that really has helped me be like, no, at the end of the day, we all are going through stuff.
Everybody.
Like people dealing with like IBS or like bladder
people
issues.
Their pants all the time.
Yeah.
People, you know, unfortunately, girls like for you guys with with like, you know, menstrual cycles and stuff. That's crazy that's just something that you just throw on top. But that's crazy in general, just for being a normal girl. And then you know, and then you throw in like getting hurt and having things. Oh my God bless you. That's just another layer. You know, that just it makes you a little bit stronger because you have to deal with certain things that other people would never, ever, ever have to deal with. So it's like, you're, you know, it's fucking badge of honor, I think.
Badge of honor. I like that. All right.
You know, appreciate it.
You know, you get certain levels. So you poop your pants, you get a badge. You know, it's like Boy Scouts. It's like Boy Scouts.
We should wear the badges like on our shirts and stuff. We're like, hey, check it out. This is what I've done.
I think we're gonna make sashes. That's where, you know, we're gonna do that. I think it's gonna happen. Little poop
start
emoji,
getting into our community. You know
poop
what I mean?
Emoji, little stuff. Yeah. It's perfect.
We'll do different like styles. So like where it happened or like when it happened. You know, like you know what I mean? Yeah.
I love it.
I got you.
Ellie, look what you're doing, Ellie. You're giving us great ideas here.
Listen, I love it.
My favorite saying in life is, because people are always like, sometimes like even in my previous relationship, my ex's family would kind of like mock me for eating healthy.
Man, fuck that
like,
dude.
Because I
know we want to say more. We're just like, you know, fuck this guy. You know,
if you're listening,
fuck you.
You piece of shit.
God.
Come to New York, I'll tell you, forget about it.
Come to the East Coast. We'll see you with some motherfucker. That's all I gotta say.
Anytime somebody makes a comment,
we got your back.
I appreciate it. Anytime anybody makes a comment to me like that, now I just tell them, I'm like, nothing is worth shitting your pants. And that's like words that I live by. Like anytime somebody's like, oh, well, why do you like eat so healthy? Like, why do you even care? I'm like, nothing is worth shitting your pants. Like, I don't want to shirt. Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I think those are words that everybody could live by. Like, anytime I'm questioning something, I'm like, do I want to eat this for dinner?
It's like, do I want this curry right now? I don't think so.
Oh my God, I gotta constantly think of that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, I know. So being in my injury for 6 years now, that I kind of do know like what I'm eating and like what's gonna happen if I eat it. You know what I mean? So like these are things that I think you do need to learn if you want to live a healthier lifestyle. Is just like if you want to be able to go out and about and not have to worry about like, you know, pooping yourself, like maybe not eat that crap that's coming from a fryer and like gonna mess up your stomach. And like, you know, these are things that like I feel like need to think about a little bit more. And I definitely become more conscious of that nowadays. So I do eat a little better. So I totally get where you're coming from on that. And if anybody like questions it, you need to be like, hey, straight up, listen, do you want to poop yourself or what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you want to experience me experiencing that?
Yeah.
This is for all.
When you say you have to run to the bathroom, I'm going to lock the bathroom, and then you can see how I feel. How about that? Yeah, exactly. You son of a gun, you over here. Anyways, let's move on. It's a sensitive subject sometimes, you know what I mean? But I get it. But anyway, so you do the healthy thing. That's good. So nowadays, is that like how your lifestyle is like when you eat? Like you're more cautious of like the way you like your lifestyle. Like I'm assuming if you're going to work out and everything, you kind of want to, you know, get whatever like proteins or whatever still, and you know. You know, like it's a little different nowadays because like when I go to the gym, I don't think of that stuff. I'm just like, as long as I'm eating decently, I'm good.
I just don't want to get fat. I just don't want a belly. That's it.
Well, yeah, I'm already past that. So I'm trying to live a better lifestyle. You know, at one point you're just like, you know, fuck it. I just want to enjoy my food and just like eat and eat and eat. But now I'm kind of like, all right, maybe don't eat that or don't.
Probably shouldn't have had those extra chicken nuggets. Probably should. You know. That extra slice of pizza. God damn it.
You know, like, but it's so good. You know what I mean? It's fine.
I think, like, just being real, something about this injury has made me really, like, in tune with my body and, like, things that I eat. It takes so much more energy to, like, get out of bed in the morning for us than it does for normal people. And, like, I notice a change if I eat, like, super processed, like high sugar, like not nutritional food. I will feel myself be extra tired. And I'm like, I got too much shit to do. I can't do that to myself. So I try to like stay up on my nutrition for that, just for energy levels, for like digestion reasons. And then just being a girl, like wanting nice hair and clear skin, that's a thing. And then also like dealing with, like, for the longest time at the beginning of my injury, because of course doctors aren't super helpful with spinal cord injuries, unfortunately. At least that's been my experience. Yeah. Having like chronic UTIs and not knowing how to function through that and just like not having any answers anywhere, kind of really started watching like what I was drinking and the sugar that I was putting into my body, and how that was I learned that was kind of like feeding the bacteria versus like me trying to get rid of it. So then I kind of started cutting sugar, like processed refined sugar out. And that really helped me also with my chronic UTI problem, which actually girls in general just struggle with. And I think it has everything to do with like what we're putting into our bodies. So
it's about that pH balances and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's true what she's talking about because I struggled with the UTIs for a long time, and then it's just like you're saying. It's all about like, you know, what you're putting into your body, and I've noticed that more and more. I actually really enjoy. I do that too, but I actually really enjoy coffee. But I kind of gave it up because I've noticed that I was getting super dehydrated and it was messing me up. So like now I kind of stay away. I drink tea still, but like it's all kind of different teas, and I like it, man. I don't know if you're making fun of me right now.
No, I drink green tea every night after the gym.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say tea is actually really good for your body. Like different kind of teas, green teas, white teas, like all kind of teas. And like I've noticed a big change. All the teas. Because that's what we do here. We drop the teas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. We're here for the
spill the tea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I actually want to open up. I want to open up my own like coffee shop and be like, hey, it's going to be called Spill the Tea. But somebody already has that, so I can't do it. You know, because that was a great idea.
I haven't heard of that. That's a good one.
And in the East Coast, I know somebody near me. Somebody opened up like a little coffee shop. It's called Spill the Tea, and I was like, oh, that would have been perfect for us because we could have had a podcast there. We could have, had Spill the Tea. You know, it would have been awesome. You know, I'll just wait for them to go out of business, and I'll take it over. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, honestly, I've noticed like for me, I try to stay away from like liquid caffeine, like coffee or tea, because that'll irritate my bladder really bad. Mm-hmm. That's just been my own experience. Like I was telling you, like I'm so in tune with my body and like what fucks me up and what doesn't. So I actually, for caffeine, I ate these granola bars that have green tea caffeine in them, but just something about digesting the caffeine through my stomach instead of my bladder and like going through my kidneys, like it just doesn't irritate my bladder like it does if I get it in liquid form. So
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody's body is different too. Like that's why we say you learn your own body, and like there's certain things that would work for you that probably doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? It's just like you said it perfectly. You just come in tune with your body and you figure that out. You know what I mean?
Find out what works.
Yeah.
I'm working on this online course right now for people with spinal cord injuries because there's just so many things that I know now that I wish somebody had taught me when I was first injured, which I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Like, but it's hard to just like message. Like I get messages all the time, like, what advice do you give to somebody with a spinal cord injury? And it's like, I have a whole book that I could give you of things that I want you to know, because I think a lot of people should know. It's like, so I'm putting a course together to like share this knowledge with people if they want it, like
it's amazing.
Like
that's
things
awesome.
like there's people that I know that are like as far along as me injured, and they'll ask me something. I'm like, oh, have you heard of like this medication that can help with that? It like changed my life. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I didn't know about that. And I'm like, you guys, you've gone 7 years without this?
I say that all the time. I feel like, we're always constantly learning new things from people. Like me and Casey come from a group called Empower. Actually, I have the tattoo right here. And they are an awesome group of people that are physical therapists, occupational therapists, and like dietitians and all kind of stuff put together. And they really have great knowledge in like the spinal cord world. And this is how me and Casey actually met, and we got together to do this because we met through that group. And these people are so awesome. They have so much knowledge, and like just saying that what you're saying is putting out there, like, people want to know more about it, or like if they're like far off, you can always learn new stuff. And if you just put that out, that's why we do this podcast too, because maybe we're talking about something that somebody's going to be like, oh, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? We want to make it more aware. We want to put it out there because we need to normalize this kind of stuff,
Yes.
Love
yes. I love it so much.
Preaching, brother.
Preaching, always. I feel like we always bring up two subjects when we're doing this. We talk about Empower, the group that we always belong to, and we always talk about Cruise, which is that quote I love so much. You know what I mean?
That damn Cruise.
Son of a gun,
That
but yeah.
Star Cruise logo. I mean, I think this episode was pretty fucking awesome. I don't know.
It's definitely been great.
Do you have any other questions or anything you want to ask her, Tone? Or
I think we touched upon a lot of stuff.
We had a lot.
Yeah, I would love to have you back because I feel like our like I want to know more about like what you put out in the world, because I like what your commerce putting out there, your aura and everything. You know what I mean? Because I feel it and it's great. And like I say this from a lot of our guests, we want to come back and like see where your journey's been, or where it's going or whatever. We want to constantly see that. So hopefully you'll come back in the future and do another episode with us.
I would love that. Thank you guys so much for having me. Seriously, so nice to meet you both.
No problem.
It's nice to meet you too. We appreciate you coming on.
And just got to give out a little shout out to our sponsor, Seven Bros Apparel. And hopefully whoever ordered some shirts and stuff, you guys all got it because it's super comfy and super awesome. And so until next time, I'm Casey Ellen, and that's my boy Tony Chamberlain. Have a good one.
Have a good one.